Kylan. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the Christmas crossover, Part 1. There's going to be a sequel to this that we will be doing on Monday night, the 23rd, where the remaining members of our parties are going to eventually get together and then also have their fun Christmas crossover event, because this is something that we like doing on this channel at least once a year. This will be the second time this year, of just getting people together. Today is December 19th, 2019, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that I feel is necessary to say at the beginning of each and every single one of our shows, because honestly, I believe it. You are loved, you are capable of love, and I believe in you. If you would like to hear that message more often, consider going to youtube.com/indooradventures, where we have all of our VODs uploaded for your viewing pleasure. We also upload our shows as audiocasts anywhere that audiocasts can be found. Other than that, we also have a Patreon set up, so if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can gain access to the after show that we do called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. And you'll also gain access to our Discord, which I usually post in the side chat to the side, or you can find the link down below in this video or below in this audio cast. We try and make it as available as we can to all of you awesome listeners. Other than that, I believe that is it for my spiel. So, hey Dingo, who you playing?
I'm Dingo, she, her, and I am playing Hish Sungard, half-orc fighter and dad. He, him.
And Cyber, who you playing?
Hi, I'm Cyber. I play Arjan, the draconian blood hunter cleric of Tiamat.
And Kylan, who you playing?
Hi everyone, I'm Kylan. I will be sharing the role of Jilfain Lyrandar with somebody else, I guess, maybe. Who knows? Let's see. I'm a half-elf cleric. We both use she, her pronouns.
Excellent. And Danae, who you playing?
Hey everybody, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. I'm going to be playing Coriander the Elegant Paladin, and I apologize in advance.
So, with that, I am the indoor adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be your dungeon master. So, last we left off, we have to do two mild recaps to let the Four Keeps peeps know exactly what has been going on in the sleepy town of Saltmarsh, and then we also have to do a Saltmarsh recap, so that way, or I think I said Saltmarsh already, so Saltmarsh and Four Keeps recaps for both of these here games. So, for the Four Keeps party members, the group of you, after having a successful day, and when I say successful, I mean you went through the day without fighting anybody or pissing anybody off entirely, were able to come to terms with what had happened to Calum, or at least had kind of come to an understanding that he was kidnapped. Maybe some of you are still sussed, but it is generalized knowledge that our sweet wizard cleric boy was kidnapped. You rescued him. And then a bunch of shoes started to drop. Corey, you ended up having a charred hymnal book from the temple that Calum was raised in. It was a bad time. He did not appreciate that. You didn't exactly let Arjan sleep when he wanted to, mostly because you were just trying to make sure that you had the buddy system and that your group would always go together. This will be your second experience for the two of you, having met the figure that you could hear off in the doorway. And when they arrive, you feel a warmth wash over your body as it had last year, around this time, IRL. So, let's do a brief recap of Saltmarsh now, as you guys will be meeting our Four Keeps party members after this recap. So, previously on Ghosts of Saltmarsh, we started off last session with Ullman getting stabbed in the back by his doppelganger of a daughter. Upon realizing that she was a member of the Shadow Council, Omen Drawn decided to bring along Viari and the rest of Acquisitions Incorporated to end this threat, where it stood. However, the lot of you decided, well, minus Albus, decided that that's not okay. This is Ullman's child. Even though she did stab him, we are going to figure out, like, what the... Like, we're going to stick our neck out for this assassin. And Omen did not like that at all. Hish, you fireman carried Omen's child off into the woods, and before you all knew it, Acquisitions Incorporated was after Team Salt Bay. After a rather intense chase through the woods, there was a moment where Albus was able to successfully cast a Calm Emotions, completely stopping all of the bullshittery that was happening in a high tense situation, and as a result got the best deal that Team Salt Bay was going to receive that day, which was they had 24 hours to leave Saltmarsh. And as we ended our session, the four of you were in the process of beginning to walk back to town. The assassin that you had apprehended is now being escorted by a group of dryads under the command of one Walnut Dawngrass. And as you are walking, it begins to get cold. And it definitely feels like an unnatural cold. And as you continue to walk, I'd like for you both to make perception checks.
Okay.
Already?
Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Here we go.
16 plus 6, 22.
Oh god, math, 25.
Okay. The two of you are perceptive as all hell, especially probably because Hish, you just have adrenaline pumping through your veins, having run from Acquisitions Incorporated and almost killed Viare. The interaction with your bag of holding where you attempted to stuff Viare in definitely took a lot of focus to maintain him within the bag. And Jill, you are still coming down off of having been empowered for a brief moment by the Chained Oblivion themselves, Tharsden. It was, it wasn't a bad time, to say the least. Albus doesn't seem like he is too particularly pleased with the situation at hand, but at the same time, again, you all understand this was the best deal that you were going to be getting. And as this cold sets in, it is unnatural. Like, it's relatively cold around the Saltmarsh area, but it is especially cold for this time of year. And you begin to see snow litting through the tree line. And there is a moment where you take note of this. It's actually snowing pretty heavily. It's supposed to be roughly around mid to early fall. The snow's not going to come for another couple weeks yet, but it just seems to all at once be snowing. And off in the distance, the two of you especially can hear what sounds like a heavy four-legged creature making its way towards your group. And with the perception that you both got, as you look at where the sound is coming from, you spot a figure. And as you spot this figure, time literally slows down. The snowflakes that are coursing through the air seem to stop. And the figures walking in front of you, escorting Ullman's daughter, also come to a complete and total stop. And I'm going to post in your guys' side chat that we currently have a image of what you see. Dingo, I would like for you to describe the picture to our audiocast listeners once you receive it.
Is this in Discord or is this
This
in
will be in Discord, yes.
Oh god. Oh god.
Where is... Okay.
So
for
our
what I'm
audiocast
looking at
listeners.
here, what I'm looking at here is if you took Santa and made him a daddy, but still with the cherubic face, and took off his red shirt but kept his little red mittens. And then if you just took the torso of him being a buff daddy and then just stuck a horse on the bottom. So if you took a centaur and a Santa and made kind of a Santor.
Santa cheese grater abs?
Santa's cut. That is for sure. And the two of you just see this figure looming in the woods as all time slows down, and they begin to march forward towards your group.
Hish is threatened. Hish instantly begins flexing.
Stronger daddy. Yeah, I think Jill like instinctively like reaches back for her flail. And it's just like, is this surely, this might as well be happening today, I suppose.
Okay, and the figure, this Santar, ends up raising a mittened hand, and as you look at these mittens, they look almost like boxing gloves. Like, they are definitely like big leathery mittens that he has stuffed his meaty hands into. And when they extend it out towards the four of you, you hear the sound of sleigh bells beginning faint off in the distance and then growing louder and louder and louder. And as they reach the pinnacle of the jingly jangles, you feel warm against this cold. And as you look down, you see that you are beginning to glow. A very bright, vibrant white light. Jill, this is a first for you. Normally it was either like deep sea blue or lately red.
Okay, great. So I'm just like, super patriotic, I guess.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
as that light continues to grow, it gets to a point of feeling blinding. And that is when you feel the ground move from underneath your feet, and you are now floating. You are not actually standing on solid ground anymore, and you feel your forms being catapulted. And you can feel like the pressure of movement against your form, but there's no outside forces striking against you. And you are shot up into the sky. And upon reaching a point of height, it seems like the stars in the sky, as you have gotten past the layer of where the sun would be, seem to stretch, and then you are just shot through this absolute perfect darkness that just has all of these stars that now appear like lines to the side of the both of you as you are flying. For Corey and Arjan, the last time that you interacted with Santar, you know that he had a sleigh with him, that he had other holiday accoutrements about him that would allow him to help transport a multitude of people. And you get the same experience that the two of them have, except it is the four of you at this bar, and the form of Santar enters in through the doors and extends a mitted hand towards your group. And Corey, you have an intense sense of Fae. For all of you listeners, Corey...
I was gonna say, divine sense.
Yes. Corey was chosen to be a guardian of the holiday nexus last year, but then during the course of events earlier this year, lost all of her memories as the spirit of the holidays was taken from inside of her by some evil ravens. Well, evil ravens.
Neutral.
Antagonistic ravens. And you feel yourself also being lifted and then taken. And it's very difficult for the two of you because you were deep underground when this was happening. And your forms are actually shot up straight towards the ceiling of this large cave that you are in. And they seem to go towards a natural chimney that has been used for smoke ventilation. And the two of you then exit through this chimney into the sky of the country of Alira, and then begin to head into the sky, and then are just rocketed farther beyond the two of you have any real comprehension for. And that is when for all four of you, you all gain the benefits of a long rest. So all of your health, spells, all of those things are refreshed. The only thing that, yeah, that's fine. So the four of you are rocketed, and there is a loud, thunderous cracking noise, and all four of you feel collision. There is like a force that you immediately halt up against, and with a loud clattering noise, all four of you are inside of what looks to be a very rustic wooden cabin. And there is a fully stocked bar. There is a fire in the hearth. There are bunks that are set up. And in the corner of this room, you also see that there is a small fir tree that is currently decorated with all sorts of baubles and goodies along it. So,
I feel like that would be a fire hazard.
So for the four of you, let's go around and describe what your character looks like, so that way the other party members know what you are at this point. So let's go the same order that we introduced ourselves. Dingo, what does Hish look like?
I forget exactly how tall I made Hish. I think he's like 6'5" or something like that. But he's a ridiculously tall, ridiculously buff half orc man who looks like he just came off of the cover of like a half orc romance novel. He's got the tusks, he's got the long flowing black hair, and one of his tusks is broken on the end.
Arjan is a 7-foot tall black draconian. He does have a tail. And he also has wings. Yeah, he looks very, very draconic. I have no idea what he's dressed with because we haven't done art in a while. We haven't talked about that. But I'm assuming he is some form of shirtless, or the shirt that he has is showing off a lot. There's a tribal symbol on the back that looks like a 5-headed dragon.
Yeah, so in Jill's case, you see a half-elf woman, somewhere in the range between 5'7" and 5'9". I don't remember exactly what I put her height as, who's pretty pale looking. She has this kind of like blackish, bluish hair that kind of falls in ringlets that get tighter and kind of curl more towards the ends. Her eyes have, or mostly this grayish blue with just the hintest like sheen of red. And if you looked close enough, a small spirally pattern. Yeah, she, is kind of dressed in like a combination of like sailor's gear, clerical attire, armor, all that stuff. And she, wears some fingerless gloves.
Corey is an elven-looking figure. She's got the long pointed ears, and she's got long, wavy black hair. She's quite tall, 6 foot, and she's wearing splint armor. And she has very pale skin, and her eyes are just these solid black orbs. She also is wearing this long black cape that covers over her left shoulder and her left arm. And she is like, I don't know, did we felt a point of impact. Did we land on our feet or all in a jumble? Can't hear you.
You would kind of... Actually, you can all make dexterity saves to determine whether or not you land on your feet or in a jumble.
That's fun.
Fantastic.
That sounds like fun.
14.
Natural 1.
Oh!
12.
8.
You're all in a jumble.
Awesome. Corey's going to extricate herself from the from said pile, and she's going to get out her sword and be all like, "We've just been kidnapped by Winterfey!"
Corey, it's the Santa. You don't remember that.
Oh my god. John, are you all right?
Yeah. I mean, a bit of a rough fall, but I think so.
Grabs him by the face with one hand.
Uh,
They haven't messed with your memories at all, have they? That sounds like a
No.
terrible thing that evil people would do.
I mean, we were sort of picked up last time without really any say in it, but I don't think it was particularly evil.
She turns around and finally notices the other people in the room, and she divine senses them.
Oh boy. So there is nothing from the half-orc daddy standing in the room.
It's just a dude.
Just a dude. And with Jill, Corey, you get a horrendous lingering of Celestial.
Takes a few steps back from her.
Yeah, I think whenever you turn and notice, Jill already has had like her flail out and just like pointed and just be like, I swear to God, if this is more of this Acquisition Incorporated fucks.
Who?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, this is, it's not, you look very confused. An archfey brought us here and apparently wants us to do some favor for him.
This isn't a god thing, is it? And Hish pushes himself off the ground.
I mean, it's an archfey thing, so like sort of like a couple of steps below that.
Jill also groans.
Has Corey ever heard of Santor as an archfey?
Make an Arcana or history check. Your best rolls.
My best rolls. And they're both the same. 4.
The fuck is a Centaur?
Yeah, I thought so. I've never heard of this Santor thing.
Well, you've done a job for him before.
I'm sorry, are you saying Santar or Santa? Because I know who Santa is. He's
I
not
think
real.
they're saying centaur. Like
Centaur.
Centaur, like the horseman. thing.
Yes, but Santor, not Centaur.
A horseman made of
So,
sand?
my name's Ajan.
Right.
What have I told you?
They're not Fae.
Okay, fair enough.
My apologies. I'm Hish, Sunguard.
Jill Fayan, but you can call me Jill.
What was
I'm
that?
sorry, what was that?
You can call me Corey.
Excellent. So how do we get out of here? Since you seem so familiar with this, she says, looking at Arjan.
You know, it's pretty different than the last time I was here. In fact, I don't even remember being here. I don't remember being here, do I?
No. This is
Okay.
just the inside of a small cabin. When you are wondering how to get out of this place, you see some windows that are set up on either side of a door.
Hish
It just
goes
looks
to
cozy.
the door.
I'll open the door.
Okay, and as you open up the door, you find yourself on a very crowded city street. As you look around, you can see that there are all manners of races and creatures that seem to be interacting with each other. You see that there is an imp and a mind flayer that seem to be haggling over the price of breads at this table. There is a tiefling who is also is communing with a giant who has sort of like squatted themselves inside of a storefront, and they are trying to sell tiny wares for the tiny folk. And as you look around, you can see that this city that you have found yourself in stretches in every direction that you can see. As you look to your rights and lefts, you can see that it is almost like a high rise that seems to wrap around, and even looking directly above you, there are also buildings and city streets that stretch on and on as far as they go in either direction. But where you have found yourself in, it seems like there is some sort of festive celebration that is going on. And as you look around, you can see that there are trees that have been cut, both of pine and noble, and are set up in conical shapes, and each seem to again be decorated in all of these festive baubles. And you see that they're standing around are what look to be almost like toy soldiers. They seem to have a very painted face. They are wearing very nice suits and very nice clothing, and they just seem to be standing around in this marketplace.
Do I know what this place is?
Make a Arcana or a History check.
8. Yeah, 8.
6.
8 and 6, the two of you have never heard of this place.
Try my hand?
Sure.
Well, it's a 9.
All right, let's go
Anything for
solve
you,
names.
Jill?
Wait, it was history or arcana? Ooh,
Yes.
both the same. Dirty 20.
Wowee. Jill, you have heard of this place before. This is not necessarily a holiday-related place, but you have found yourself in Sigil, the City of Doors.
Okay, so Sigil. That's well, unexpected.
Do you know where we are?
I've never been here personally, but I've heard of this place. I know the name for it is City of Doors, and well, I suppose we have opened a door to it.
Wait, how did you know that?
Oh.
Who are you? What are you? Can I have your name?
He just kind
Jill.
of moves between Corey and Jill.
And if you want anything else from me, we'll have to come to an arrangement.
Indoor. Whenever Gwen got back, she didn't say that the name of the place that she went to was called Sigil, was it?
No.
Okay.
Gwen had basically given you a shorter version of an already short story, saying that she went to this crazy place and then met a guy who she sold her hair to. And that was about the extent of Gwen's story.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't think Calum actually knew what this place was either.
All right. Santor, do you have any guidance? You're not even here. Great.
Is Centaur your deity?
No. He's just some guy that we've done a job for once.
Fantastic. Well, in my, from what I know about Sigil, do I know if there is an easy way to leave?
There are many ways to leave Sigil. You just have to know how. Make a history check with advantage.
Ooh, hoo-hoo. I swear to you, another dirty 20.
Nice. All right, so you know that in order to leave Sigil, you need to go through the right door with the right key. And keys can be anything. It can be a spoon. It could be a rock. It could be a small bird. It could be an air freshener. There are many keys that all lead out of Sigil. But there are also hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of doors. And each door can allow for multiple key usages.
Well, this is going to be a bit challenging to get out of. Well, I suppose we better start looking for keys. And doors. Keys and doors.
Keys and doors. Any specific key or door, or just any?
Well, that's the problem. See, there are many doors and many keys, but finding our specific door and key could prove to be a bit difficult.
Well, if I had to wager a guess, the door. If we find a door and there's like a fish and salt smell emanating from it, that's probably ours.
Speaking of fish and salt smell, where's Albus? Where's Omen?
Are they not here? It starts looking under things.
Oh gods. Oh gods. Okay, well.
They're probably back where you left them. Apparently Centaur's MO is to just pick random people from wherever they are.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, I
Omen
certainly
is
didn't
not in
sign
a
up
good
for
place
this.
Nope, but here you are.
Well, I've got a very long talk with the Centaur once I find them. She'll be like, how do you contact him? How do you contact this?
We don't. In fact, last time he was a lot more direct with what we were doing.
I presume that we can write a very strongly worded letter
Jill's face lights up.
and tell him about how very naughty he's been.
What
We
if
can
we
do
made him
that.
a stocking?
I don't see how that would help the situation.
Well, if we made him a stocking and we filled it with things, or if we got him a present and put it under the tree, maybe he'd come for it. Or milk and cookies. That's what we do. I mean, I don't
Was there anything under the tree?
But
You did not see anything under the tree while you were there.
Well, what was there? Archon's gonna go back and peek around the house. Is there anything?
From what you can see, it doesn't appear as though there is much in terms of excess outside of the stocked bar. But if anything, it just looks like this is an area for rest, not necessarily a place where things are hidden away. There doesn't seem to be any extra tables or drawers or anything like that. It seems very bare.
I think if we got some cookies and maybe some milk, he would come, just like the stories.
Wait, you actually have stories about the centaur? The centaur.
Well, not about a centaur, but a familiar, a similar figure.
Okay, that's more of a lead than I have.
Honestly, I'm open to anything at this point.
Rives, we can capture him and force him to return us home.
I like that idea.
So just
Sure.
walk the streets, see if we can find either a store for cookies or a place where we can get the ingredients to make cookies.
A bakery.
Okay.
All right.
So you end up as you're going through this area, you can see that there are also on top of these toy soldiers and plethora of creatures, there are also what appear to be it's like they look almost like snowflakes, but they have a mechanical whirring to them, and they just seem to zip around the upper layer of this trade area. And you can see that they just blast like through imps, bumping them out of the way as the imps attempt to fly, and other small creatures as well just seem to kind of give them a little bit of distance as they are going through. Roll an investigation check, whoever is trying to be the leader for finding either a bakery or a general goods shop. Arjan got a 4?
Well, I have a +4 investigation.
Okay.
Go for it.
23.
Okay. 23. So you end up finding a place where you can buy cookies as well. But you also know that you could have either or of either baking them yourself or just pre-purchasing cookies. There seems to be a very long line of people that are trying to purchase cookies as well, and you know that there would be a shorter wait to get the ingredients yourself and then make them back at the strange resting house that you have found yourself in.
I mean, we can try to get the ingredients. Any of y'all particularly good at baking? I can do alchemy, but I mean, I guess it's kind of the same.
Particularly bad at baking.
We've probably watched Olman a couple of times make some cookies. I think we could do it.
I wish Olman was here.
I still
Corey?
have my father's recipe.
Then, yeah. Arjan's going to stand in line for ingredients.
Okay, so the ingredient line is actually fairly quick, and you get all of the ingredients to make cookies for 15 silver pieces.
Party funds.
And upon gathering everything that you can, it feels really weird. It's a hag that is the one who is like selling the ingredients, but she just seems to be totally fiscally minded. There is like, just pay me, you get this, we're good. She is just out to make a buck in the city of Sigil.
Okay. Sure.
And it's like she can't help but just do that. As she takes your money and then gives you your ingredients. But you manage to get everything. You realize it was the most reasonable rate that you were going to be paying in the nearest. You don't know if they use miles in this place. But the four of you end up making it back to your small resting house. And the cookie bake shall commence. So, let's do a skill challenge for making cookies.
Oh my god.
Before starting cookie baking, can Corey attempt to assume her spring form?
Make a wisdom save.
17.
That is enough.
Okay. Corey goes and sits down in front of the crackling fire. She crosses her legs, and she appears to be meditating. And over the course of about 20 minutes, her armor, her hair, her skin, they all begin to shift from a monochromatic kind of color scheme to a much brighter, pinker pastel situation. And then she stands up and she says, "All right, who's ready to make cookies?"
Why can't you help us do that?
Do I know anything about Eladrin?
Make a history or arcana check.
Okay. Quick. 17.
You know that they are elves of the Feywild, and as such are they are very much in communication with their seasonal forms. But as far as you know, their coloration is typically pink, yellow, blue, and then a more like orange color. The fact that she was like black and ashen skin before is a little concerning.
Well, Hish, Albus and this Corey are entirely different but strange in their own ways. Definitely strange.
Definitely strange.
So normal yourself.
Yes, cookies. Let's go ahead and get started on that.
You
All
said
right.
you had a recipe.
She reaches into her bag and she pulls out a wrinkled piece of paper that's been folded, and it seems to have seen a lot of love. It's kind of got like a little bit of flour on it and such, and it's written with a really nice handwriting with swoops and sweeps and curls. And she smooths it out on the table. And as she does so, you realize that she does this all with her right hand. And then it becomes clear that she doesn't actually have a left arm under that cape.
Okay, well, all right.
I'm going to need a little help.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Happy to help.
Okay. All right, so let's start the skill challenge with some initiative.
I get advantage on initiative with my flail, but I'm not using my flail, so I guess no advantage.
Not with that attitude.
Well, I got a natural 20 anyway. Oh boy. Jill, what do you know about making cookies?
I got a 17.
21.
And Corey?
Oh wait.
Oh, sorry, 15.
Oh yeah, I got a 24.
Jesus. All right, so
Good
the
eye
order
roll.
is going to be Jill, Arjan, Hish, and Corey. And because skill challenges, let's recap on what a skill challenge actually means. Danae, would you be so kind as to remind everyone what they are?
Okay, every time we come around in initiative, we are going to have to say that we are using a skill to attempt to further our goals. The rules are that you cannot use a skill that you used in the previous round, and you cannot use a skill that the person before you used. We need to make a certain number of successes before a certain number of failures. Did I forget anything? I feel like that's about it.
Nope. That sounds about right. So, we are going to be starting off this skill challenge with Jill. Jill, what skill are you going to use to help with the process of making these delicious cookies so that way you can trick Santar into coming to your house?
Sorry, I'm just laughing. I read what Phoenix wrote in chat, but Jill just needs to touch the ball to mix it.
It's true.
Okay, question. Have I lost all of my documancy skills?
Your documancy skills are still there. Your satchel has been taken from you.
Okay. Well, if I still have the skills, as a documancer, I get advantage on intelligence checks whenever I decipher things and it's all writing, and this is a written recipe that I can perhaps decipher and
I'll
you know,
allow it.
figure out the best way to
The
do
paperwork
it. So, yeah.
hasn't been processed for you to be fired from Mac Inc. yet. It's just word of mouth right now.
Yeah, I still got the power, baby. Okay, so that is just a straight intelligence check with advantage. So, big money, no whammies. Okay, 13.
Okay, a 13 is... A 13 is going to be enough for this because even though the letter is worn and has been through quite a bit of love in the meantime, looking at it, it's an elven. It looks like a very nice elven hand who has probably done the letterhead for hundreds, if not thousands of letters in their time, was the one responsible for writing this out. And you're able to kind of call out to your friends what you need to grab or what they need to start bringing out in order to get this ready. All right, so Arjan, how are you helping make cookies?
Can I use can I make an alchemy check?
Sure.
All right. So while everybody's rushing around, Arjan just pops in with a smock on that says kiss the alchemist, but the kiss is crossed with little writing above it that says please don't. And he's going to bust out an alchemy kit, and with a proficiency of +4, do I add anything to it, or is it just, or do I add a skill to it, or an attribute to it, or is it just
survival.
Proficiency? Okay, so wisdom. Okay, 22.
Okay. A 22 is absolutely fine. So you bust in during this cooking with your smock that says, please don't kiss the alchemist. And you begin basically portioning everything off. You want the absolute perfect layers. You know how to sift all of these fine powders so that way they are still loose and fluffy, but also packed and actually along the line of this measuring cup. And thank goodness you were here, because no one else in this group carries measuring cups with them outside of possibly Ullman. So, you done did it. Hish.
Hish is going to do what Hish does best when Talia is making cookies. And he is going to grab the nearest large wooden spoon and the bowl, and he's going to use his big strong arms to mix the hell out of it.
All right, sounds good. Make an athletics check.
13?
Your arms are getting a wee bit tired
No, they're
doing
not.
this.
They're big and strong.
They are big and strong, but it's been a rough day. You got stabbed earlier. You got stabbed a lot earlier.
I did.
So 13 is not going to be enough for this round. Corey, we have 2 successes, 1 failure. What is Corey doing to help with the baking of the cookies?
Corey knows a person who's had a bad day when she sees one. So what she's going to do is she's going to make some hot chocolate with marshmallows, and she's going to encourage Hish with a persuasion check.
Okay.
$11.
How does Corey unsuccessfully make hot cocoa?
Ooh. Uh-oh, it turns out I can't cook. I think that she gets the ratios wrong. She scalds the milk, and it's honestly a terrible cup of hot cocoa, and that doesn't even matter so much because she accidentally pours it on his lap.
Oh.
Oops.
It's fine.
I'm so sorry. Are you all right? Are you
Fine.
burned? I can lay on hand. Are you okay?
No need to lay on hands on me. No, it's fine. I'm just here, and he hands Corey the bowl. I'm just gonna go take care of this in the bathroom, which I hope there is one.
Sorry.
Here, it's totally okay. It's totally fine. Not the first time it's happened.
So there is actually not a bathroom inside of this rest house, as the indoor plumbing in Sigil would be a fucking nightmare. So you actually...
There's outdoor?
Yes. Yes, there are like outhouses designated for like, this is the shitter for multiple houses.
That must also be a nightmare.
Oh, it's... Yes, but yeah. So you manage to head off to this rest area to get your pants cleaned up, and as you're walking out with this fresh hot cocoa that honestly just smells burned. You don't know how you would burn liquid chocolate, but somehow this spring elf who has shown up has done this thing. As you are making your way towards the restroom, you see that the snowflakes that are above, these automated snowflakes, seem to stop. And then they all turn in a singular direction, and they begin heading off towards that area.
Which area? The bathroom?
No, not the bathroom. It seems like they are just heading off towards the Christmas market. Make a perception check.
Okay. I'm gonna use a different die because that die failed me. 11 plus, what's my perception? 6, 17.
Okay, so with a 17, you hear coming from the night market, designated as naughty, designated as naughty. And you hear someone say, please, it was just a loaf of bread for my family. And then before they can finish, you see a bright light appear from the night district, as from this night market, as it seems like these snowflakes are shooting fire down onto, like, into the night market.
Yeah, Hish, I think he stops and he turns on his heel and he walks back into the house. And I think he closes the door and he sort of approaches the kitchen quietly and he says, I don't want to alarm any of you, but I think they're turning people into coal in the night market.
Someone's in danger?
I think they're more than just danger now.
Card
I
goes
think.
for the door.
Okay.
What about the cookies?
Paladin.
So
we'll put the cookies in the oven and then check on the situation.
yes, so Hish, while you were gone, Jill, it was your turn for part of the skill check to make cookies. As this all happened as a brief aside.
Oh, jeez, Louise. What can I bring to the table? How far along are we in the cookie process?
You are at the dough stage.
Oh, we're at the dough stage? Okay.
But you know that the dough's getting a little clumpy.
Can I insight check the dough to see what it really needs, what it's missing, what it's hiding from me?
What it really needs.
Jill, make an insight check. I'm totally down for this.
26.
The secret ingredient is love.
Jill, there's a moment where it's like the world goes calm around you in this sea of chaos that is this 7-foot tall dragonborn, this one-armed Eladrin. You find this moment of absolute clarity, and you know exactly what these cookies need. And you reach into your bag and pull out a small pouch. And this pouch has a very nice reddish color, and it is cinnamon. And as you add a little bit of cinnamon into the mix, you know that this will be a complete cookie. And you even take, and it's not even that you have like, what I should say is, you didn't add it into the cookie mix, but you took sugar and cinnamon, mixed it on the side, and turned the dough into snickerdoodles. So normally Corey's dad just sort of had like a butter cookie recipe. Like they were very delicious, but very bland. But you have made this truly a delicious cookie with this ultimate insight.
No one alter it further. It's perfect.
All right, Arjan, make a survival check to know how long to let these cookies bake for at a specific temperature.
So survival was what I used last turn.
True. So how are you going to do it?
If Corey and Arjan are leaving, could Hish use his survival and take Arjan's place?
Whoa. I want to carefully put the cookies in the oven. How about that? So I just like put the cookies in the oven using a dexterity check.
Okay. Which one?
I would love to be able to use stealth. just sneaking the cookies in the oven.
I'm going to say for stealth that you can use stealth to put the cookies in the oven if you want to do it without without Jill noticing. She's like, nobody touch the cookies or alter them further. And so I would say that either that or like a sleight of hand check.
Could I use a spellcasting check to start the oven?
Yeah.
Okay.
That totally works too.
Believe my +6. So that's 15.
Okay.
So Arjan he puts the cookies in the oven, and you sort of see him like make his hands into fists, and then he lights his now extended dragon claws, which are now on this yellow fire, and you just so it's the oven.
And as these cookies are then put into the oven, Jill, you end up coming back talking about what you saw going down outside. And then Corey and Arjan are just very quickly making their way towards the night market. Are you joining them, or are the two of you just going to hang back?
I don't know. It looked scary out there, and I kind of want to go home. I'll watch the cookies. Do you want to go?
What's our game plan here?
I don't know. I don't know where I am. I don't know what a Santor is. I don't know why they're turning people into coal. They were screaming naughty. I assume someone did something bad.
All right. But should anything bad happen, I will message you immediately, because I have a spell. I can do that now. I will message you immediately, and you better come, or else.
Okay, but what if the cookies aren't done? What do I do then?
I don't know. Take them out to sit, maybe.
But they won't
take
cook
them out the oven.
Wait, they'll be bad.
Well, is there a refrigerator? I don't. What are refrigerators? I don't know.
I got it. Okay, I'll figure it out.
Okay. So Jill, you rush off with the paladin and the blood hunter, your new adventuring friends, and together the three of you head off towards this night market. And as you arrive, it seems like whatever horrific thing that Hish saw has been cleaned up, but you can see that there is a sense of general unease with the shoppers at this here night market. And as you're making your way, what is everyone's passive perception?
18.
12.
14, 18, and 12. So, Jill, as you are walking along, Corey is heading towards where, generally where she had heard Hish kind of direct as to where the situation was occurring. Arjan seems to be following Corey. And Jill, as you're looking around and you're sort of checking in between stalls, you hear a psst. Psst.
I'm just gonna like cut a side eye over to whoever's psting at me.
And you see that there is a goblinoid figure. They are small, but where the goblins that you've seen are all... they have very harsh facial features. This one seems a lot smoother. In its skin, it almost reminds you of your goblinoid friend Jeffrey, who is a member of Ack Inc. And this figure is wearing it's like a green tunic that has a red belt that has what looks like a golden disc around the belt, and they are wearing red and white striped socks that lead down to curled shoes at the bottom, and they are just waving towards you.
Can I help you?
He needs your help.
Who?
The head horso. You know who I'm
Oh
talking
my
about.
Gods, barely. And are Arjan and Corey ahead?
Yeah, they are a little bit ahead at this point.
Just
Okay.
try not to draw any attention. It's a true danger that I even came here to try and talk to you about this.
I think she'll just kind of clear her throat, just like a little loudly to see if that's enough for them to like turn around.
And make a performance check.
11. No, wait. 14.
Okay, so Arjan, you do not hear Jill clearing their throat, but Corey, you do. And when you look back, you see that Jill is just kind of standing precariously near a space that exists between two shops, and you see that there is a smaller green-skinned figure that looks like it is speaking to Jill, and it is wearing incredibly bright clothes for this
Fine
being.
sense.
You do not get any feedback from a divine sense.
Okay. Though I do still get very strong celestial from Jill.
Oh yes. And it's petering off at this point. There is still it is like when you're in your kitchen and you've cooked something with onion and that onion smell just doesn't go away for hours. That is the celestial stinge that you are currently getting from Jill, is that it just seems like it is pervasive, but it has not been there for a while.
Corey is going to turn around, and I imagine she was spearheading this operation, so she's going to turn around and kind of nudge Arjan as she comes back. And she's going to walk over to Jill and just be all like, "You are positively divine." And then she's going to look down at the little green-skinned fellow. And does he look like a goblin, or...?
He looks like a goblin, but more closer to gnomish features, no sharp teeth, none of this furrowed, constantly angry eyebrow. They have relatively good posture. They almost seem more like a green-skinned gnome, if anything.
She's going to look down at it and say, Why, hello there. May I have your name?
And the figure like extends 2 arms back, seems very taken aback by this new figure, and just says,
Not on my life.
They're with me, and if you want my help, you're going to have to cooperate with them as well.
and then the figure, this smaller goblinoid creature says,
You can call me Greppo.
Very good to meet you, Greppo. You may call me Corey. You needed some help from us?
and Greppo kind of leans out and looks down the night market, looking up towards where the light, where there are hanging lights, and says,
After last year, the big man decided that he was going to try and, well, automate things. Said that there was a problem with a expanding Eververse, something like that, and that in order to keep up with market demands, he needed to make things a little bit easier for himself. So he created something. Genius inventor like him, it was only a matter of time. He called it the Holiday Alignment Litigator.
Oh, that
And I
just
need you to
sounds-
stop it.
That just sounds bad altogether. What do you need
So
us to do?
If we stop this thing, will you be able to get us home?
Oh, that's a good idea.
and Greppo nods.
All right, give me just a moment. And Jill's gonna reach into the bag. She's gonna get a piece of paper. She's gonna get a quill and just be like, I'm gonna put this in writing, just to be sure.
Okay.
Oh, she's a professional, Corey says, looking over at Arjan.
Oh. We'll talk after this.
All right. And that is where we will go into our break for the evening. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who has decided to stop by and join us for this wonderful shitpost of a Christmas crossover. I always have fun making up some silly stuff to send our players through. So I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Thank you to these wonderful players for being in this game. That's great. I'm glad we could cross the streams. Is that what it is? Yes. We are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to patreon.com/indooradventures and join us for our after show, or feel free to leave us a review on this YouTube video wherever you are listening to it. Let us know how we're doing, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. Bye-bye! And we're back! Hello, everybody, and welcome! We have returned to our Christmas crossover. A young Verdun named Greppo has contacted 3 of the party members in an attempt to help save Santar from an evil machine known as the Holiday Alignment Litigator. So that is where we are picking back off, is with the 3 of you having been confronted by this goblinoid form.
Jill is blowing dry the ink on this contract. She's like, well, it's not my best work, but it'll certainly do. All right, just sign here. Basically what it says is you will allow passage for myself, Jill Fayan, Corey, Arjan, and Hish, who is not here at present, but, I have ways of contacting him. In exchange, we will help you take on this holiday alignment litigator and effectively render it useless. Does that sound agreeable?
And Greppo nods.
All right. I'll just sign here. If you would all please sign. It's a matter of formality. We'll get Hish's signature later.
And Greppo just looks at you and then takes out his own set of quill and ink and dips it in. As they write, you can see that it is a very festive green ink.
All right. Perfect. Sign. Yes.
Oh, this is absolutely lovely. May I see? She
And
takes
it
it
is.
and then she like holds it up over her face and she's like, "Is this legit, Arjan?"
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is incredibly jargony, even for like the most chicken scratch version. If you would please, so we can
Oh, right.
be on the road.
Like, we also have to sign it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
We do.
Corey lets
Alright.
Arjan sign it first and then like hesitates for just a moment before doing so. Does she have to put her full name?
No, Jill just put Jill Fayen.
Okay, cool. She just writes Corey. Otherwise, we would have been here for a while.
All right, that settles that. She says, rolling it up. Okay, so mercenary work. That's easy stuff, relatively.
You hear Jill with your passive of 18. What sounds like armored legs marching. And they are coming from off in the distance of the night market.
All right. Well,
And
hear a little more action.
I'd like all three of you to make a perception check. Because Greppo didn't roll very high.
13.
10.
21? Okay, so with your 21, Corey, you looking around these buildings now that you're hearing, now that you're like starting to hear these sounds encroaching, looking up, you can see that there is one of these snowflakes that is behind Greppo, sort of farther up in the air. It seems like this was the one place that he didn't check. And you hear it say, "Naughtiness detected." And as it says that, it begins to say it again, louder and louder and louder. And as it does, Greppo just looks up and his face goes a little bit pale. He says, "We have to run." And he just cuts underneath your legs and begins sprinting down the path of the night market. And as the three of you look over to where this sound is now coming from, not just the naughtiness detected, but also the clunking of what is very clearly steel against stonework, you look over and you can see marching in rhythm a small squadron of these toy soldiers that are marching along towards your group with these snowflakes that seem to be buzzing around them, also coming towards your direction. What do the three of you do?
Cheese it.
Run.
Yeah, I'll start booking it, and at the same time, she's going to cast Sending, and get in contact with Hish real quick. Which direction are we running? Are we running towards the night market or away from the night market?
Away from the night market. You're actually heading back towards Hish's direction.
Oh, well then I won't cast Sending.
Okay. Hish, it has just been you, some cookies, and this weird log cabin inside of a city made entirely of just buildings everywhere. This is the worst. This is the anti-Saltmarsh. It doesn't smell like the sea. It smells like rats and feces.
Not great. What's up with that bar?
Fully stocked.
Ooh, great.
Everything you could ever want is inside of that bar.
Perhaps is there a chilled compartment where perhaps some eggnog might be?
There is, as you look at it, it seems like this is an ever chilling bucket. It seems like just this bucket is always at a specific temperature, and it just sort of has like a damper towel that's been stuffed in it to help keep the bottles of all sorts of things insulated. One of which, of course, is eggnog.
Eggnog, yes. All right. Yeah, I think Hish is just he's kicked off his shoes, he's warmed up by the fire, he's poured himself a spiked glass of eggnog. He's just leaning against the cabinets and watching those cookies bake.
And Hish, you know that these cookies just need a few more minutes and then they will be perfect. And as you are enjoying this quiet life inside of the biggest city in the multiverse, the door busts open and you see that there is a little green man wearing incredibly festive clothing who is very out of breath. And they look at you and then just sort of like step out of the house real quick and lean against the door, and they are making a hand-waving motion as if signaling more of these individuals to come towards you. You can hear what sounds like running outside as at least 4 other individuals seem to be beelining it to your door. From where you sit, you can't see them, but you know that this little green man is just waving people into your house.
He sets down his glass and I think he sort of just speed walks over and says, excuse me, this is my home. You're trespassing right now, and I'm gonna need you to. It's
not the time. And Greppo is yelling at you at this point, and as they are motioning, you look over and you see that Jill is full on sprinting. This large dragon man is running as well, and you can see that his wings are sort of like trying to help make him hop and go a little bit faster. And your Eladrin friend, still pink as a cherry blossom, is just running forward. Big smile on her face. Wowee, it might be danger, but at least it's adventurous and fun. No gods involved here.
He goes, oh shit, and he grabs the little green man by the back of the collar, and then sort of scoops them into the kitchen and clears the way for the others to run in.
Okay, so then the rest of you 3 also make your way in. As you are running, I want you, all 3 of you, to make dexterity saves as these automated snowflakes are flying around and just trying to blast you with flames.
8.
I also got an 8.
Yay!
Can I?
Twins.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could I possibly face step Jill out of danger?
Oh, you for sure can. All right.
Jill, look out! What are you? What?
Corey jumps at you and like pushes you, and as she does so, you fall into a sudden swirling cylinder of sakura blossoms, and you are transported through a world of just swirling flowers that is just pink as hell. And then you reappear about 30 feet away.
Oh gods. Just look back. Is Corey okay?
So Corey, you are going to be taking 13 points of fire damage. Yes. And Arjan, you will be taking half.
Okay, half 13.
Yes.
6.
Okay, yeah. And then you are all continuing to run, and Hish, you can see that Corey and Arjan both look moderately burned as these, again, flying snowflakes are trying to shoot fire out onto your friends.
Yeah, Hish is going to grab Arjan and Corey, dropping Greppo with, I assume Jill is here, dropping Greppo with Jill, and he's going to yank them inside and close the door.
Close the door so Arjan and Corey can't get in?
No, I'm grabbing
Okay.
them. I'm grabbing
Okay,
Arjan
got
and
it.
Corey. I'm yanking them inside and then closing the door.
All right, so the lot of you are pulled inside, and if it were not for, again, the adrenaline coursing through you of having almost been burned alive, man, those cookies would smell really good right about now. And Greppo starts fumbling in their pockets and pulls out what looks to be a key ring. But attached are just charms and little baubles. There doesn't seem to be any actual keys on it. It is just it's almost like a child's jangly toy, where it is
Boo-boo
just
keys.
Yes, it seems almost nonsensical. And they end up starting to flip through this assortment of keys, and they don't end up finding what they're looking for. And you hear the cries, Hish, you hear them now, it would say 3 targets added to naughty list, attempting to clear naughty list. And you hear a whooshing sound as bright lights fill the windows in front of you, as you can see licks of flame shooting through the wood cabin lodging sides, as it seems like these automated drones are now turning their aggressions on this home.
Oh, I was thinking about buying it too. Okay. Everybody stay in the middle. You two, you need ice. Are you okay?
We're fine.
How do we get out of here without alerting whatever that is?
Well, actually, we kind of need to perhaps possibly take it down to get out of here. I made a contract.
You what? Of course you did. Okay.
Oh, so is that the thing we need to take down?
And Greppa says, "It's not here! It's not here! The key... Just wait a second!" And he rushes forward, still flipping through his key ring, until at one point it looks like a dodecahedron. That at the center of it, you see what looks like a galaxy-like swirl, but there are flitting pieces of snow that are also inside of this dodecahedron. And you see that Greppo goes up to the keyhole at the door and looks to the lot of you and says, "This is your last chance to grab anything that you don't want to that you don't want to lose while you're here." And
My cookies.
and slams this dodecahedron into the keyhole of the door. And as he does, you hear a creaking and a groaning sound, as it looks like the corners of this room, although they are made of wood, are bending in as if they were made of metal, and then begin to crinkle as if they were made of paper. And you feel this sensation warp around you, and there is darkness. And then there is a feeling of yourself being thrust forward, but you are standing still. And when you come to, you are, for Arjan, this is a much more familiar place than you were in last time. This is a endless snowfield. And Corey, you've been in snowfields like this before, but it usually doesn't end well. And as this snowfield, as you're looking out on it, you can see a familiar wood off in the distance, or at least would be familiar to Gwen, and if Corey remembered Corey. And then off in the far distance on the left-hand side, you see a tower. And that tower has what looks to be a large red orb resting atop it with a beam that seems to be just cycling around the landscape.
Did I grab the cookies?
Make a dexterity save.
You got it. Can I instead make an athletics check?
+3.
This is because the cookie pan came right out of the oven. It is, you are holding on to oven hot metal with your bare hands.
You got 3 healers with you. It's fine.
All right.
Add 3 to the save because you're within a certain distance of me.
Thank you. That is a dirty 20.
Yeah!
So you feel your hands like getting very hot, but thankfully a life out on the sea has just left your hands incredibly calloused, so you don't really feel it as much, but you still instinctively like set the pan down onto the snow and then release your fingers into the snow as well to just help cool them down, and you are without error a transporter of snickerdoodles this day. And Greppo says, we've been hiding out in the woods over there, but the real issue, and he points towards the tower, the real issue's there. That's the holiday alignment litigator.
I'm sorry, who are you?
And they kind of dust their hands off. You can call me Greppo.
Greppo, right. And that's the holiday, who is it?
And he points again and says, holiday alignment litigator.
Holiday align blah, 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 blah. So that's what we need to take down.
Yes.
Easy.
All right.
And Greppo just like,
Okay. Is there anything... I can't really offer much in terms of aid, but I can tell you what I know.
Go ahead.
Santar's in there. The alignment litigator, it saw its own creation as naughty, and it saw the person responsible for it as Santa, as the Santar himself. But he's not being turned to coal. Not yet, anyways. He's being held captive. I
So
need you to free him. Or
Okay,
destroy
so
the machine.
Any particular priority that you want that done?
Save Santar, but if you can destroy the machine, he'll be able to free himself. There's a sustainment field around him right now. He's not able to use his holiday magic.
I mean, I guess we gotta decide quickly what's up play.
Is there?
I'm
Do you know a
very
good way?
good at breaking things.
Do you know a good way in, Greppo?
and Greppo says,
Well, if you were able to fly, I would say you could just go above the beam. But we don't have any flying creatures out here. The alignment litigator saw through that.
How far up is it?
Well, it's about 90 feet. You could try and climb it.
That.
Damn it, Corey already used her teleport.
I can only use it on other people in this form.
I know.
Oh.
Thank you, by the way. That was very nice of you.
Oh, it's not a problem.
Okay, so
She gets a little pink in the face.
climbing and flying.
Well, I mean, I would suggest possibly going through the air ducts in the toy making facility. But you're a little too big. Greppo points towards Arjan. You're a little too big. Points towards Hish. You're also too large for this. And he points
Very
at Corey. But you could. And points towards Jill.
Isn't it a little bit rude to comment on a woman's size?
What?
I am very tall for a woman in this world, it seems. Says, looking at Greppo.
Okay, so even if I was able to get in through the air ducts, that would still leave other 3 members outside.
Will
Kind
you?
You could open the door.
Oh, I suppose I could. Huh. Oh, this seems so ill-advised. But I suppose it's the most reasonable shot we have, unless anyone is hiding flying or climbing powers. That would be useful to bring to the table.
Let me just check my bag really quick. Opens up his fanny pack. Or wait, I don't think I have the fanny pack anymore.
I can jump about 60 feet, but that's more of a one-time thing.
And that would still, there would still be an issue of everyone else getting up. So
Yeah.
yes, I suppose our best bet is infiltration.
Jill,
Think you can do it?
make an insight check.
I'll just take this. Insight. 18.
So with your 18, as you are devising methods on how to get past this incredibly large security system and open up the door, as you are looking through your own bag, you see your ledger. And you see the dark iron pen resting next to it.
Yes, that is one way.
What's one way?
Going into the air ducts, yes, that's one way.
Sort of seems like you thought of another way. I know that look. You're scheming. You've got a scheme going on.
We need some schemes.
Few ideas. Hitch, do you trust me?
Absolutely not.
Are you willing, for a moment, to put a little faith in me?
I don't like the sound of that, Jill, but yes.
Perfect. She'll take out the book and she'll take out the pen. Now, how do I want to go about doing this?
No, sorry, go ahead.
And she'll start to write. And it'll say something along the lines of, at that moment, there was a a strange malfunction in the way that the holiday alignment litigator worked. For a moment, the beams seemed to go offline, and the doors seemed to unlock, allowing passage for our 4 intrepid adventurers safely inside.
Okay, make a religion check.
Come on, Chain Daddy, help me out here, bud.
Don't bring Daddy into this.
Bring Daddy into this.
16.
All right, so with a 16, Corey, you and Arjan, is yours like a passive detection for Fey Fiend, Celestial Undead, that kind of thing?
No, it's I get advantage on checks to recall information about them.
Got it. All right. I will
Mine
say,
is something that I have to choose to do.
Corey, I will say that you don't have to choose to do it because of the sense that you're getting. This is the source of that celestial after fragrance, but it's wrong. It's celestial, but it's not celestial in the same way that Coralon is, or the same way that Elistrae is. This is celestial in the way that creatures like Grumsh and Lolth are. They are still deities. They're still celestial in nature, but it is the opposite. And you get that sense coming from the book, but as Jill is writing and signs the end of whatever she's written, she looks up towards the security light that was scanning over the snowfields, and the light flickers and stops.
All right, I don't know how long we have, so we should hurry.
All right.
I cast aid on everybody.
Ooh.
Thank you.
5
I don't know
hit
what that
points.
does.
5 temporary hit points?
No, it actually raises your max HP by 5 temporarily.
Oh. Nice.
Alrighty, and Greppo just looks at you, Jill, and just, what? What did you do?
I negotiated with it. Let's go.
And before you head off, Greppo grabs a hold of your hand and says, how long do we have?
No clue.
All right, and they nod and then rush off back to the woods where they had come from.
Hish grabs a few cookies and puts them in their hands and says, here, just take these with you.
And Greppo gives you a very knowing nod, like this is when the sad music swells as they then rush off towards the woods, leaving you all to make your way towards the Holiday Alignment Litigator, which, Arjan, you remember as you had seen it in almost like a base stage.
Right.
Yes, as inside of Santa's headquarters, or Santar's headquarters, there was a supercomputer that they seemed to use to oversee the holidays at large. So you are assuming that you need to find that supercomputer and make your way into this system. As you are making your way there, you notice that the spotlight will flicker on and off and is still making its regular rounds. So let's do another skill challenge as you make your way from the woods to this place. And we can either use our initiative from last time, or if you guys want, we can re-roll initiative.
You can re-roll.
Let's re-roll it.
I'll move to it. Hi.
17.
6.
8.
12.
Okay. And okay, so Arjan, you are going to be going first in the skill challenge. What would you like to do to make your way through the snow to avoid this large red beam?
I would like to stealth, please.
Stealth seems like a pretty good option on this.
13.
Okay. So as you as you make your way and you're like, no, I'm in my element. I understand how to stealth through these snows. I am the only one of us who has been here before. Don't worry about this. As you're maneuvering everyone forward, that light, as it's twisting around, ends up finding you all. And at that, there is a very deep noise that seems to come from the tower. And in the snowbanks around you, those snowflake-looking drones begin to emerge out of the snows. So, Corey, what would you like to do?
I would like to use athletics to fight off the drones.
Okay. Make an athletics check.
18.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, they don't seem to have very much in terms of hit points, so you are quickly able to start hacking through them. Hish, you see that, oh, okay, they might be scary and throw fire, but at least I can kill it. Like, that's something I know.
I hack through one of them, I grab another, and I discus throw it into a third.
Yes. Totally down for it. Jill.
I think I would like to use my perception in the midst of this chaos to find either like an opening, an alternative path, something that could maybe get us out of line of fire from these drones.
Okay. Let's see it.
Which one do I want to roll? This one. Let me see it. Let me see that thing. 18.
18. All right. So, as you are looking for a place on where to go, the security beam coming from this tower flickers again, and you know that you have a very limited amount of time to rush into, like, to go back, effectively running counterclockwise to escape where it is trying to cycle to get you out of this danger zone. But you are able to do it. You do still, however, have a very small number of these drones that are still chasing you. But you guys are making very good headway towards the center of the holiday nexus. Hish, it is your turn.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I cannot use the same skill as the person directly before me, or I can't use a skill that has been used before.
I believe it is, and Danae, correct me if I am wrong on this, it is if you can't use the same skill that somebody else just did, and you also can't use the same skill that you did the previous round.
Correct.
Okay, so
you would be
cannot
able to use athletics because
Okay,
Jill used perception.
Okay.
But you
okay,
wouldn't be able
perfect.
to use athletics again next turn.
That's okay. Because I think what Hish is going to do is he's going to scoop up ice. And he's going to sprint in the same direction as Jill and throw these snowballs to knock down, or throw these ice balls to knock down
Nice.
the little snowflakes.
Do it.
10 plus 8, 18.
Okay. That is also a success. So you also start dropping these drones by just throwing as many snowballs as you possibly can against them. And in his prime, Hish probably was the king of the snowball castle come wintertime. Like, he's got those big beefy dad arms now. Imagine what he had when he was still in his youth.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's still king of the snowball.
Oh yeah. So Hish, that was a success. Arjan.
Uh, so what's the situation now?
The situation is that you guys are still at this point. You could make it to the door of this area in a solid sprint. It seems like your party members have been very efficient in the destruction of these artificial snowflakes that seem to be spewing fire coming from around you. And you can see where you are going directly ahead of you.
Oh, okay. What would an insight check help with anything? Like, would I be able to like gauge where these snowflakes are coming from, if there are any more
Yes.
that we have to watch out for?
Yeah, I would say you could do that.
Natural 20.
Okay.
26.
Sweet deal. So, as you guys narrow and get to the final stretch of this rush to the door, Arjan, you start seeing where, like, just the base of snow where these artificial snowflakes are coming up from, right as that snow is being disturbed. Eldritch Blast. Like,
Sacred Flame.
Like, you know exactly where they are going to be coming from, and the brief explosions of these machines breaking followed along with this holy light is effectively giving you all a runway to direct you towards this door. And when you get there, you see that it is still locked, and then that red coloration on it begins to shudder, and then it flashes green as the door opens. And Arjan and Corey and Hish make perception checks as you run in.
5.
8.
Sorry, 23. I'm bad at math.
Okay. That's totally fine. Completely acceptable on this show.
sure.
So, Hish, as you watched this light, when it shuddered, you saw that it didn't just switch colors immediately. It's almost like the red blipped out and turned into a small dot that spiraled towards the center of that light before it flashed green.
Oh, I'm mad.
But the four of you make your way through this open door, step inside, and then very quickly turn and shut the door behind you. It is dark,
Jill?
It is cold, and you can hear what sounds like large gears turning somewhere in this place.
Do I have a sense of direction?
Make a survival check.
7.
In this circular, it was very hard for you to know what direction north was while you were running to the center point of this holiday nexus. But instead, you know roughly like rights and lefts of when you came in, but you don't know what the north side is.
Ish.
Did you involve who I think you involved?
Well, indirectly.
Indirectly or very directly?
And Hish,
Indirectly.
Jill did not exactly hide writing in her black ledger.
I asked for a moment of faith. And look where we are now.
Yes, all praise your great journal of whatever the fuck. All right. Arjan, Corey, either of you have any idea where to go?
No. Do I see any like stairs or anything or?
I would say that you do see a flight of stairs, and the flight of stairs look like they lead, they're next to a door, and the stairs lead down, and the door goes forward.
I mean, I don't remember the layout of this place, but I mean, stairs are a good sign. Archon heads over to the stairs, walks up them,
Okay.
or down them, whatever
Down,
direction
yeah.
that they were going.
They were heading down.
She's gonna follow close to Arjan and turn around and say, "Everyone, stay close to me."
Yeah, Jill will follow.
Hish follows. Hish brings up the rear, but he sort of leans in to Jill and he says, "I'm very disappointed in you, Jill."
Well, you wouldn't be the first, and I'm sure you certainly won't be the last.
Okay. And as you two are having this comment, or having this aside, Arjan, as you are walking forward, you see that the lighting that is in here are all just these dull reddish orbs that look like Christmas ornaments that are just hanging from the ceiling. And they have this nice matte, like it's a sheen, but it's still closer to matte texture.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't see through it, but it is just this more dusted red orb that seems to be hanging along the ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna keep going.
Okay. And as you guys keep going, make a survival check to sort of navigate where you are. You had only been allowed in one room previously.
20.
Okay, with a 20, there is your innate confusion about what is going on in this area. But then you remember what Greppo had mentioned, which was that Santar was imprisoned here. Santar is a Fae, and you know how to track Fae. And so you start using your innate blood hunter abilities to sort of maneuver and pick out doors and pathways that you aren't necessarily sure you would have taken under normal pretenses based off of this feeling that you were getting. And as you lead the party into a larger chamber, and you can see down the way that there is a much more well lit area, which you're assuming, based off of your general track, that this is where Santar is being held. The door, the archway in front of you, you see a sheet metal door come from the ceiling down and slam to the ground, and behind you from the hall that you just entered into, it seems like another one of these doors also slams down, and you hear a voice, and you all hear this voice. What are you doing in my home? Breaking and entering is a crime. That is incredibly naughty.
The door was open.
Yes, the door was unlocked, so I feel like as though we were invited in, which, according to all laws and codes I know, seems to be kosher.
Yeah, just entering. No break.
Just entering to visit a friend.
And who would that friend be? I've never met you before. We are not friends. There is no one else here.
Is that true?
There is no one that you need to concern yourself with.
Lying is naughty.
And there is a pause. I am not lying.
You're lying by omission.
Is that lying or speaking a different truth? Telling the truth is nice.
Lying by omission is still lying. Corey shares a knowing look with Arjan.
Arjan looks really guilty and also just like, don't push it.
I got caught doing that last episode too, she says to Arjan, just as an aside.
Arjan, like, as soon as Corey says that, Arjan like leans over to the side and actually like coughs up blood.
Oh my god.
Breaking the fourth wall is incredibly naughty.
Stop it, you're hurting him!
And as it
How
says
did you
that,
play a character as naughty?
and as it says breaking the fourth wall is incredibly naughty, you see that there are circles in the patternage upon the ground that have rings of light circle around them, and a straight line goes through that circle and parts, and you see one of these toy soldiers that you had seen in the night market stand up and then right itself, and then you see a second and a third and then a fourth, and each of these metallic figures looks towards your group, and together in unison they say, "The naughty list must be purged." And two of them are going to bring up firearms and direct them towards your group, and you see as these other two pull out what appear to be scimitars, and they are going to begin making their way towards your group as well. I would like for everybody to roll initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it, baby.
16.
14.
12.
9.
Hish, what'd you get?
14.
Okay. I totally prepared for this. Or at least by rolling dice. Okay. So, two of them are going to be going before you, two of them are going to be going after. So it'll kind of be, as the flow of combat happens, it'll be you guys, them guys. So, the two with the cutlasses are going to come forward towards who is in the front of the line in the marching order. They will appear to you, Arjan. Or actually, the one who broke the fourth wall would be Corey. So they are going to go after Corey, who is currently on their naughty list.
Come get me.
So it is going to make some attacks towards you.
Oh, shoot,
Does
I
a
don't
modified
know
20
what
hit?
typing. Yeah, it does.
Okay, so that is going to be for 7 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And then it is going to make a third attack towards you with a natural 20. And that is for 12 points of slashing damage.
Cool. I reduce each of those.
Okay, sounds good. Next up is one of the figures that has a firearm, and it is going to take aim and shoot towards you as well, Corey.
Uh-oh. I'm in danger.
And it is going to get a 21 to hit.
Yep.
Okay, so that is for 6 points of piercing damage as you feel this leaded round sink through into your shoulder. You know that the bullet is still there. It was not a clean through and through. And you've have only experienced firearms with Ruddick before. Well, Ruddick and Diantha of the Spring Court. But you've never been shot by one before, and fuck, this hurts.
Yeah. Ow! Ow!
God damn it. Arjan, it is your go, and you see 2 individuals with firearms and 2 with cutlasses.
And both of them are without 5 feet of me.
Yes, they are out, or one of them is within 5 feet. Because that is the one that came up to slash on Corey. And then there are still 3 that are about 15 feet away from you.
Okay, but none of them are engaged.
None
with
of them
me
are
right now.
engaged with you. No.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back a little bit. And you see Arjan take out this heavy crossbow and extend his claws while curled up in a fist so that he starts dripping blood from his hand. And as it touches the crossbow, it lights up with yellow fire. He's gonna just step back and point. I would like to cast Scorching Ray at 2 of the melees and 1 of the firearm people.
Okay.
Okay. 8,
Okay.
14, and 22.
The 14 and the 22 both hit.
Cool. 2d6. I should have gotten all the dice for this. Uh, 8 points of fire damage for one of them, 3 points of fire damage for the other.
Okay. Sounds good.
And that's my turn.
Gotcha. All right. So next up, Hish. And these are fantastical things. This long metal crossbow that doesn't seem to have the bow appendages, that looks like all you do is point and then explodey happens on the other side. This is unreasonable.
This looks incredible. Hish is thrilled. There are still 3 that are sort of further back, right?
Yes.
Hish is going to run up to those and pull out his flaming scimitar. And he's going to sweep at 2 of them because I'm going to make my attack a superiority or a sweeping attack. If I can hit. Does an 18 hit?
Oh, for sure.
Yay. So one of those melee guys is going to take 9 slashing damage, 8 fire damage, and 6 additional damage, and then the toy soldier next to him is going to take 6 damage.
Okay. So the melee one that you had ran up to was the same melee one that Arjan had been able to hit with a Scorching Ray earlier. And your scimitar just cleaves this one in 2. Oh, yeah. No, it's one of those, like, quick swipes, and then you see them not have any changes, and then they just split, and the top part begins to, like, fall off while the bottom part falls forward. Mm-hmm. And then the second one takes a significant amount of damage as well. And now that you're close to these bowless crossbows, it smells like cannon powder, almost, like coming from these metallic rods. You've seen things like staves and wands that wizards use, but nothing like this.
Okay.
All right, and Jill.
Wait, I have a second attack.
Oh, right. Yes.
And there is a ranged one that was near those 2, right?
Yes, there were 2 ranged ones. You actually hit one of them with the sweeping motion of your
Great.
blade.
I'm gonna hit that one with a disarming attack.
Okay.
That's what it's called, right? Yes. Fuck. That's a natural 1.
Okay. Sounds good. So you go to disarm them, and modern times, it is the, like, what is it when they like spin the practice rifles in their hand for like marching and stuff?
Oh, color guard?
Yeah. So they have their rifle and they just bring it to a quick attention and then begin doing those spins as your scimitar tries to disarm them, and they just pop the butt of their rifle up and actually knock your scimitar back. You are not disarmed, but this is flashy as all hell. Why has no one told you about these things before? All right, so then next up, Jill.
Okay, there's one still on Corey.
There's one on Corey, and then there is 3 over towards where Hish is being incredibly naughty.
Okay, I think Jill is going to run up behind the one that is like actively attacking Corey and reach out with her hand, and as she does, this reddish spiral begins to essentially spiral out as she places a hand on this toy soldier and casts inflict wounds.
Hoo-hoo.
We'll do that. We'll do that at a. Yeah, we'll do it first level. Quick, natural 20.
Womp, 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 womp. Roll that damage, because inflict wounds is silly.
That's 3d10. Do I roll 6d10?
Yep.
The power. Okay, hang on. Let me collect all these little bitches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Happens in
Okay.
slow motion as Corey watches. Like some petals float on the wind.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy, okay. Math. So that's 18, 22, 27, 35, 38 points of necrotic damage.
Okay. So as Corey, as you are looking, you just see Jill like pop up behind this this toy soldier, reach up with her hand, and you see this reddish spiral kind of as a tracer in the air as her hand comes down and just slaps the back of this figure. And then you watch from the top shoulder, and then this, like, it's like the metal is flaking and it is just clenching in on itself, as it seems like there's just this added bit of gravity that's been applied. And you watch as this line continues to spiral around itself, as it seems like this figure is actually getting twisted and crumpled up into this spiral-like formation from the sheer amount of damage that Jill has just patted on the back for this figure.
Are you all right? That's my turn.
Okay. Sounds good. Next up is Corey. And Corey, the one that was on you has just been dusted by Jill. And you see that Hish is currently 1v3ing. Or actually, at this point, it's just 1v2ing. A cutlass, or they both have firearms. You've dealt with the melee ones.
All right. Corey says, stay close to me. And she is going to rush over to, well, first of all, she's going to put her sword out behind her, and it will light up with moonfire. And that fire will actually jump to everyone's weapons within 30 feet of her. as she casts an aura called Crusader's Mantle. Oh, actually, that's an action. Never mind, I'm not doing that. Sorry. I'm just gonna run up and whack it.
So I hit it with my sword.
I hit it with my sword.
Stay close to me. Stay close to me.
A 9 probably doesn't hit, right?
A 9 does not hit.
All right, second attack. I do believe a 26 will hit though.
Yeah, 26 will hit.
Okay, second level smite. These things aren't fiend or undead, are they?
They are not.
I figured. Okay. That's gonna be 6 slashing damage.
Is this the one that Hish has struck or the one that is currently uninjured?
The one that is currently uninjured.
Okay.
'Cause I feel like I'm gonna overkill if I don't. 13 radiant damage.
Okay. So it still lives, but barely.
That's fine.
Okay. So as it is these two soldiers' turns, you hear that same voice that you've heard around the room say, destroying personal property is incredibly naughty. You all must be purged. Every last one of you. And this I shall do by my own hand. And from the ceiling above, it's almost like the metal flows, like a liquid, as it separates out, and you just see this large reddish eye looking down upon all of you, and it sort of extends out into this more ovoid shape that seems to be hanging from the ceiling, and you watch as tendrils begin to form from the walls around you, and it looks like there are 8 of them now that are reaching out, looking like they are trying to do some sort of damage. At this point, the toy soldiers have collapsed. It doesn't seem like they were... It seems like any energy that they had has been taken from them and then returned back to the alignment litigator. And it is going to make some attacks. So, it is going to extend these tendrils out and is going to make a singular attack against each of you, as it doesn't know who to necessarily focus on yet to be the most naughty, because you've all been bad this Christmas. So for Arjan, does a 26 hit?
Just a 26 hit.
I don't know if you got some magic bullshit. All right, so that is going to be 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Can I get Hal to make a dexterity save?
Yes. Hal got an 18 on the die.
Okay, so they will be taking half of this.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. So then the tendrils are going to reach out and try and strike out against you, Jill. And that is a 14 to hit.
Nope.
And then against Corey, that is a 16 to hit.
No.
And against Hish, that is a 22 to hit.
Oh, for fuck's sake, yeah.
Okay.
I was going to take half of 13 points of fire damage.
Okay. And as this fire sinks into it, you see that it doesn't look like it was as effective as you thought that it was going to be. All right. So then, Hish, you are going to be taking 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And that is it for this creature's turn. Next up is Arjan. And you can see that there are these 8 tendrils that are all along the room that seem to be moving independently.
I got a question.
Yes.
Does Hal have blood?
Hal does not. Hal is a construct.
Fuck. Okay. Do 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 do. As a bonus. Oh shit. Hmm. Okay. As a bonus action, I would like to hex
Hex.
and give disadvantage on strength checks.
Okay.
And then I would like to take a couple shots. Do.
Same hat.
This is going to be a 23.
23 to hit?
Mhm.
Yes, that hits.
And a 17.
Okay, and a 17 also hits.
Cool. 12 points of piercing damage, 2 points of fire damage, and 5 points of necrotic damage. The first one.
How much necrotic?
5.
5? Okay.
And for the second attack, 7 points of piercing damage, 5 points of fire damage, and 6 points of necrotic.
Got it.
That's my turn.
Okay. Next up is Hish.
I'm gonna chop this tendril.
Do it.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah, that'll hit. Roll for damage.
I'm also going to make this a...
And Arjan, were you shooting a tendril or shooting the central body? Okay.
I can't really knock it prone, can I?
It does not appear as if you can knock it prone, no.
No. Then I'm going to make it a distracting strike. So whoever goes after me to hit it has advantage.
Okay.
So 12 slashing damage. 11 fire damage. And then 6 additional damage. And then I'm going to do a second attack.
That tendril explodes.
Oh, fun! I'm going to hit a different tendril.
Okay.
I'm going to turn around, just heel pivot. 19 plus 8, I assume that hits.
Yep, totally.
And this one's just going to be Rego. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to make this one a distracting strike, too, because that other tendril is gone.
Okay.
So that's 10 slashing damage, 7 fire damage, and then 5 additional damage.
7 fire damage, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And it does not look like it is taking nearly as much damage from the fire, but you don't care. It's gross. It's weird. It kind of reminds you of Albus, and this is therapeutic in a sense.
A little bit.
Then next up is Jill.
Okay. Can I get this little bugger and the tendrils in a, let me double check, a 10-foot radius sphere without hitting Hish?
You would not be able to.
I got lots of hit points. Hish is looking great. Hish is looking
It's more the central
the best
body
you've
is
seen
far
in a
enough
battle in a while.
The central body is far enough away from the base that a 10-foot radius wouldn't be able to touch it. And like
Okay.
hit both of them.
How many tendrils can I get?
You'd be able to get 2 of the tendrils.
2 out of how many?
There are currently 7.
7 tendrils. Damn. Jeez, what to prioritize? Okay. I'm gonna. Can the tendrils make saving throws? Or is it just. Okay. If that's the case, I'm gonna need 2 tendrils to make a con save at disadvantage, I believe, because if for shatter, if a creature is made of stone, crystal, metal, inorganic material, they have disadvantage.
Yes, it got a 8.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Yep.
That's a no-no. So let's do
The tendrils make their saves together.
C 8. Ooh, nice. 17 points of thunder damage. Let me double check.
You said 17?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe that's thunder damage. Yes, thunder damage.
Okay.
It's just she bashes her flail against her shield and just a loud, painful ringing erupts.
And 2 of those tendrils just shatter. As the spell says, they were unable to survive that in any means. All right, so did you have a bonus action you wanted to do?
No,
Okay,
I'm good.
Corey.
All right. Are there any tendrils left? It's just the guy.
There are currently 4 tendrils left still.
4 tendrils left. All right. I'm going to stay on Hish, just kind of like mirroring him, and keeping him to my left to get on my unprotected side. And I'm going to raise my sword up in the air, and I'm going to cast. The blade will light up with moonfire, and I'm going to drop a moonbeam on the old eye in the sky.
Nice.
That's my action, and we'll resolve it on his turn.
Okay. Which, if you have no bonus action, it is its turn. So what does it need to do?
Constitution save.
So a con
this is
save.
This is at 3rd level. I'm casting this.
22.
He's good. He's good for now. But that moonbeam's gonna stay there.
Okay. Does
Actually,
he
no,
take
it's,
half damage?
Yeah, half damage. Sorry. I'm so used to. Oh God. Okay. I should have been prepared for this. Mistakes were made. This is 1d10. Where are all the d10s? Oh my God. I didn't put any d10s in my bag because I don't have the option to. I don't have the option to use 2 hands on my sword.
Oh
no! Okay, that's fine. I was like, where are all of them? Okay, I've got it. I've got them. Here they are. I'm rolling. All right. It'd be 16, 21. So 10 radiant damage.
Okay. And that's halved already?
Yeah, that's halved already.
Got it. So it is this creature's turn. And it is going to all of these tendrils are going to move towards you, Jill, as they recognize that you are an incredible threat to its well-being at this moment, and they are just going to try and lay the smackdown upon ye. So those 2 don't hit. Wow, I see, Ink Dice. It has been a long time. It was going to be a nat 20, but then it rolled to a 2, so I think that one misses as well. But a 22 does hit.
That one will hit.
For 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'd like to use my reaction
Okay.
to use the ability whose name I always forget. It's loading. It's coming to me. It's Wrath of the Storm.
Yeah.
All right. That one's gonna need to make a Dex saving throw.
Okay. Which they have disadvantage on? No, you did strength. Okay. So a dex save is 12.
That's gonna be a fail. So that's gonna be 2d8 lightning damage. For 9 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
And if it's still up, I have a new ability called Thunderbolt Strike. Whenever I deal lightning damage to a large or smaller creature, I can also push it 10 feet away from me.
Okay.
If that's within that.
So yeah, it gets pushed.
Pushed.
Push. And then Arjan, it is your turn. T-plus for dominance. He'll come back soon.
All right. How's it looking?
You're looking good.
So Hal is still
Hal is still up.
cool. I'm gonna use Mystic Frenzy, do 2 Eldritch Blasts and 1 shot with my crossbow.
Okay.
Eldritch Blast, that's plus 17 to hit.
A 17 does hit.
Okay, I rolled another 17.
Okay.
So let's get those boys out the way. 1 point of force, 5 points of necrotic.
Okay. So 5 points?
Yeah.
Okay.
And 4 points of force, 5 more points of necrotic.
Whoo!
And I've just been going for the central thing.
And as you are blasting it, you hear its voice is beginning to distort and wind down, and it just says, "You're being incredibly naughty." That's it. And there are like bits and pieces of machinery that are just falling from the ceiling with it.
10 hit.
A 10 does not hit.
That's it. That's
Okay.
my turn.
Then next up, none other than Hish Sungard.
All right, so we still have all those tendrils hitting.
There are 4 tendrils that had all swept up onto Jill and just began batting away.
All right, yeah. Hish is going to pivot and swipe at 2 of those tendrils with a sweeping attack. That is an 18 plus 8.
That totally hits. Roll for damage.
Yeah. 8 slashing damage, 4 fire damage, and 3 additional damage that the other one also takes.
Hish, what does it look like when you defeat this giant mecha monstrosity?
No! Okay, I like to think that Hish went a little far, and he sort of heel pivoted and then just took his blade and ran around and just chopped all of these legs off.
All of these tendrils off?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So as you sever each of these tendrils, and it is just this quick movement of Hish, and then they all stop and then slide off to one direction before tumbling down onto the ground. And it seems as if this large form that had been hanging above in the ceiling, you hear the snapping and breaking of cords as it falls out of the ceiling and then begins like descending onto where you all are falling. I would like for everybody to make dexterity saves.
+3.
Yes, with a +3 as this thing falls upon you.
13.
16? Yes, 16.
17.
Okay, so
14.
16, 17, 14. And then Arjan, what'd you get?
13.
13. So you all manage to just jump out of the way in time as this large thing falls down onto the ground atop these toy soldiers that you had also defeated, atop of all of these tendrils. And as it lands, the room goes quiet as all of the lights sort of flicker and blink. And you aren't sure if the power is still on, and you hear the sounds of exasperation coming from behind this locked door. And it sounds like metal is being broken and bent, and you can hear the sound of hooves against metal coming down this hallway, until eventually you hear a as the door just busts off of its hinges, as you see Santar with his fist out in an uppercut formation against where this door was, as this burst of festivity appeared around him. It seems almost like it is some sort of illusory effect where they always just have what looks like tiny little Christmas trees or hats and bells just around them. And they look tired. Santar is cut, yes, but a little bit of food could go a long way with Santor right now.
Yeah, Hish opens his bag and he pulls out the remainder of the tray of snickerdoodle cookies, and he sort of almost sheepishly approaches Santor.
No, it's a Winterfey. Get behind me.
Corey, it's fine.
I am the lower Kaelin of the Fallen Leaves, and I command that you...
Corey.
What?
We've met before.
No, we haven't, you liar.
Are those snickerdoodles? Those look incredible. And gonna reach down with a big mitted hand and grabs 2 of the cookies. Just and just begins to munch into these cookies until he eventually says, "Anybody have any milk or something? Something. Hold on." And you see as he stands there, his tail makes a whipping noise. And as he does, he had his gloves together, and with the whip, he extends his gloves up, and there is just a full glass of milk. And he just begins to drink milk, eat these cookies. And you can see his tail is just swishing behind him.
The cinnamon really elevated it, I think.
This was a really nice job. Thank you, Jilfayan. And just addresses you directly and says, I knew I sent for the right people. I could only make one message out this year. And that was that I needed help. I needed to be rescued. And you did it. All of you did it. Thank you.
For us specifically?
Nods.
You're welcome, Mr. Santor.
Just Santor's fine. That's the title. To say that to include a Mr. would be like Santor PhD.
Right. Santor, if you don't, I don't know if this is something you can do. If you wouldn't mind, I have a son at home.
Ollie, right?
Yeah, Ollie Sungard. And he's been really good this year. Minus the pudding, but that was my fault. I take full responsibility for that.
And Santar puts a big, meaty, mitted hand on your shoulder and just gives you a knowing nod. I'll make sure of it.
Hish nods, and he says, Thank you. And he kind of steps back with the empty tray and puts it back in his bag.
Corey slowly raises her sword and Arjan slowly puts it back down.
I wasn't around whenever she was here with you last time, but apparently that's been taken away from her, as well as her memories of the last time she met you.
Well, who would do such a vile thing?
Some
You
ravens.
mean it's still out there? There's still
Yes.
time. We can still get the reason for the season back. The holiday spirit.
Sure.
Sure.
I think I'll hang on to it this time.
Oh, okay.
And Santar nods and says, "You've all come a mighty long way. And you have my thanks. But with this, I'm afraid it's time to send you home."
Wait. And Archon's gonna pull Jill aside and Knight's in the courtyard.
All right. And as Santar agrees to deliver Ollie his present for the year, and Arjan begins speaking with Jill, that is where we are going to call it for tonight's Christmas crossover part 1. So I would like to say, first and foremost, thank you to this wonderful audience for stopping by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. I love Christmas crossover games because they just give me an excuse to run a mainline game but make it silly for my friends. So I am awfully thankful for that this year. But hey, Dingo, where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh, good question. You can find me on Twitter at Where's My Dingus. I don't tweet a lot, but that's where you're going to find all the things I do, such as Tuesdays, I am on Off the Table playing Alas for the Awful Sea with Kylan. Thursdays, I am here. Fridays, usually every other Friday, probably after the holidays. In the evenings, I am back on Off the Table playing D&D, Tales from Thersha. And tomorrow morning, I will be on Tales from the Grim, playing in Monster of the Week, Samhain. And that's about it. And happy holidays, everybody.
All right, and Cyber, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Cyber. You can find me on Twitter at CyberWolf1201, where I shitpost most of the time. You can also find me on Twitch. Not the rest of the year though, but I play video games real badly and talk about lore because that's fun. All the archives of that go to youtube.com/CyberWolf1201, where you can also find the podcast that Kyle with an N and I do called Let's Talk About It, where we get drunk, do parkour, and talk about RPG stuff. New episode coming out whenever I have time, probably for the new year. You can also find D&D Beyond homebrew tutorials. I've got a Patreon where I do Tal'Dorei conversions of modules, like published D&D modules, and I'm on the DM's Guild. But for RPG stuff, I'm here. I'm here on Mondays playing this boy, Arjan, the Dragonborn. I'm also usually with the rest of the Saltmarsh crew as Albus, the Simic hybrid sorcerer bard Aboleth. And it's a good time. Yeah. And stay tuned because I might be doing more stuff next year.
And Kylan, where can we find you?
Hi, everyone. I am Kylan. You can find me at Kyle with an N on Twitter and Twitch. Although you won't find me on my Twitch for a while because holidays. Yeah, I'm here on Thursdays, usually playing Ghosts of Saltmarsh, but we had a fun little holiday episode this time. Tuesdays, like Dingo said, I'm on Off the Table playing Alas for the Awful Sea. If you want to listen to me through your sweet, sweet ear holes, I've got a couple of podcasts. Let's talk about it that Connor already mentioned. That's available on YouTube, Anchor.fm, and podcasting places. I'm also in Cape Lorelei, an Urban Shadows actual play podcast, which is an off-the-table project available on Spotify, iTunes Store, and Bandcamp. I play just a really, really mean-spirited fae. So I'm sure Corey would love it. But yeah, that's it for me, and happy holidays.
Hi everybody, my name's Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me here on Mondays playing Coriander the Elegant Paladin, except for today where I was Cory the Elegant Paladin during Saltmarsh. You can also find me here on Tuesdays, except for next week on account of the holidays, playing as Strahd in Curse of Strahd, running Curse of Strahd. And I sure do hope I get to kill all my players when we come back, because they are assaulting Ravenloft right now. Anyway, DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey fella, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But this week and this week only, tomorrow, also at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, our dear friend Jordan of Forgotten Realms Explained is going to be running a Dungeon Crawl Classics game, which is gearing up to be rather neat. I will have to be watching a VOD of that because sadly I have work tomorrow, but instead I will be turning over control of the channel to the fine folk that are usually found here anyways. So we also have our Patreon set up, so if you would like to support any of the fine folks that you saw here or help continue to make our show self-sustaining, that would be awesome. And you can do that at patreon.com/indooradventures. And you'll also gain access to the Discord. It's a pretty good deal. Think about it. But for now, we are going to be going into that podcast. So we will see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.